Neto from NVIDIA and Rogério Schola of Dell Technologies.
Oh, thank you for being here with us. My name is Laura Neto. I'm the commercial leader from NVIDIA, and I'm going to talk about NVIDIA. For those who know, it was created in 1993, a company that, if you don't know, your children, and also the games, and a company started that, and this is very strong in our DNA. And this is less than 10% of the company. NVIDIA, it's what I'll call NVIDIA Enterprise, where we bring accelerated computer platforms, the composition of hardware, which is very important. We hardware that are going to use edge computing, data center, cloud, all kinds of computer demand workloads and applications. But hardware is very important. But more important than that is software that NVIDIA develops and makes available so that all of our partners, and it's very important, NVIDIA does not trade anything directly. Everything is through our ecosystem. And there we have the startups, OEMs, and also very important Dell and NVIDIA, which is very strategic. And I'm going to show why this partnership is strategic. And obviously, the global system integrator is very important to enable the ecosystem in the accelerated computer platforms. Now, addressing the topic of today, NVIDIA is a company with 32,000 employees spread. 80% of this team breathes software. We are a software company recognized because of the hardware. Then this software together with the hardware makes available several tools, over 150 SDK library, so that we can build solutions with this toolkit that we make available through open source. And I'm sure that everybody had monitored the Gen AI, the ChatGPT. We are the IA engine. That's why we had this boom. And the computer structure. When we talk about AI Gen, everything changed completely. And then we have AI plans. Why? Because we have to start from scratch. From the little computer that's there, SDK, I'm going to use the software tool, I'm going to use everything has to be as if it were a Formula One car. That's the purpose of NVIDIA, to have everything optimized. The software is important, the GPUs we have, the networks are very important for the latency problem, and our partners, and all the software stacks we have. When we talk about AI plans, there are three moments in the AI Gen. The models for training are the open tools, like Yama. And for example, we have the Grok, Gemini, and community tools. So trying this large language model requires a huge computational structure, and so that the other traditional companies cannot enable. And post-training, where we have the LLM with trillions of parameters, and to do the fine-tuning, if we want to do a retrieval, we have to make the optimization to bring this to the reality of my company. A gigantic computer capacity. Third phase is the inference. So when we are all going to profit and conduct the research on using prompt or visual language model, all of this is important. Pre-training, training, post-training, and inference. To all stages, the computer demand is huge. We have to begin from scratch, the hardware and the software. With all the software tools, we can make available solutions for digital I'm not going to give you any spoiler. Nobody better than myself, our great partner from Dell Technology, Marcelo Schola, is going to materialize this, the concepts and the user case that can be used with AI plant of NVIDIA and Dell. Every March, we have our GPC, GPU Technology Conference. If those who can be in San Jose, California, but if you cannot be in person, you have a remote access free of cost to everyone. And you're all invited for the next GTC.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I will begin my presentation now. Here, we will talk a little bit about the AI factory. Everything that Alaur mentioned that NVIDIA creates and how we can materialize it as a solution. So Dell gathered all these components and created a solution that is called the Easy Button. As you know, AI is here, has been around since the 50s, began in 56 with machine learning, and has been evolving. And now we have the generative AI. But what's been happening is that on 2022, the year of the discovery, then the exploring of it, and now the concretization of use cases. That's what interesting for us. It's what is the use cases that will bring productivity, assertivity, and how we can implement this in an easy way. Many people don't have an AI team within the company, a developers team. So we developed an internal consulting team, and we brought the consulting team into architecture and the NVIDIA architecture, engineering, NVIDIA engineering, and the engineering from Dell, and to create two different parts. We have the structure, the GPUs with acceleration. It's very strange to say GPU because we don't have a video entry in these accelerators that we use for AI. So we have the infrastructure layer, the servers, not just servers. We need to have the right network to have an AI fabric with low latency, especially for some kinds of workload, especially training. In this case, I will need the interconnection because I will need more than one GPU or more than one server, right? The limit today is that we have 8 GPUs per server. And some models that need to be trained, we need more than GPUs. Does anyone have an idea? The version 3.5 of ChatGPT, do you have any idea of how many? About 10,000 GPUs for 9 months to train a model of a few million parameters. A model that will maybe reach trillions of parameters. And for that, we need the proper infrastructure. Properly, I will need a layer of storage. And then we have some strategies and protocols in the storage layer to make the GPU talk directly with the file system layer, like a direct GPU. And this reduces the latency of the solution as a whole. This is the first layer. It's what you can see, the infrastructure layer. You can begin at a workstation. So we have now workstations that work with models of 20 billion parameters. For the devs, that's very interesting because we can have an MVP, a concept test, and value test in a small environment, and then we can scale this as to the Dell AI factory. It's the factory together of Dell and NVIDIA. And then we have the software ecosystem, is a very important layer because we need and important to customize for the GPU so that we can have the best speed possible. And in case of NVIDIA, that has been working this for more than 20 years, they created this ecosystem in a very simple way. So probably you have the nests, the micro inference services that make deployment a lot easier of an application. But you can integrate in the middle layer anything. You can integrate an app that I developed, transformed it in a container, added in the Tritor inference server, and this becomes a component that I can give it a name as according to demand and need. In this upper layer, we have a service layer, the service part. So we have a Dell consultancy, AI consultancy, which was the best in 2024. It develops the solution and can reach the customer, the client, and have a workshop for acceleration, so we can have a use case and define architecture and what the best architecture, especially when we talk about data. So data federation, it doesn't matter where, the source, the origin, we have to do initial curation so that the data goes into it as a more assertive way in the AI engine, and you can have a quality. And the quality you have is as good as the data that you use to produce this use case. And when you get these 3 layers, you have any use case: content creation, generation, digital human. If you have an opportunity to go at the Dell stand, we have a digital human. I was part of the development of it, and it's there. We call it digital human for internal service for the Dell workers, and for external service, we also develop. This is in a customized way to put it in a stand or an access point as well. So the use cases and acceleration together with the ecosystem layer, they have been evolving every day. You have new revolutions and something new. And this new thing, you already have it within infrastructure, because when we acquire infrastructure, you have the access to NVIDIA Enterprise, the ecosystem, and everything is integrated, customized for that infrastructure that you scale according to need. You begin small and you grow it as needed. Here we have some use cases: code, digital automation, digital twins. You simulate your company, your business inside a digital environment. This has been used a lot nowadays. Computer vision, which is not very related to generative AI, but is more connected to machine learning and traditional AI, but you can connect to a generative AI use case. And design and creation of content. These are some examples. There are many, many more. And the advantage of this solution, Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA, is that you don't only need to use NVIDIA component. It's an open ecosystem, and you can add other types of module solutions. You can create a layer with OpenShift and Red Hat, another layer using some kind of code that was developed internally with a partner. I can have the agent creation. We are in the agent's ear right now, so I can create these agents and make sure that they integrate the solution. Also, what I'm showing here is some of the ISVs that we just launched in Dell Technology World that happened in Austin, where we launched solution with Cohere, Google Cloud, Red Hat, Meta, to have specific solutions that are ready for a specific use case. So instead of having to develop something, you have the use case ready with the partners that are properly aligned. And the case that I use the most is the case of the digital human. Overview. Right. Today we have a partnership for the creation of digital human with NVIDIA in the part of components and transforming text to audio, audio to text, to synchronize everything, audio to lips. So you can synchronize the audio with the speech of the digital human And where can you use this? In a service point, in a branch where you serve customers, the first, second, or even third level of service, using the data that your company already has in an infrastructure on premise. So I'm not going to add this to a public cloud, especially financial sector that has a high concern with data and security of the data and GPD. So I create a whole completely on-premise structure. Many times, depending on demand and need, I can even put this digital human in a workstation running offline with models of up to 100 billions of parameters offline in the workstation, and rendering this digital image to make sure that it's a AG or content or proper content without online internet access. Or you have the use case that we developed for an airport, where you have a stand for service that can access internet and other types of websites or other types of content. This digital human you can develop with whatever characteristic you want, with the creation in the creation studio, where you develop physiognomy, the face, the details, the personality. If it's an avatar that will be very happy and hyper, or you want a more serious demeanor, you can configure personality. And then you have a Michael Dell testing the avatar in one of the events that we were part of. And this avatar is called Andy. And we have Clara and Andy. And we have a use case that I will show that we had in Amarillo, Texas, that has about 90 idioms and dialects. And there the difficulty was how I could meet the demand of the plurality of these inhabitants as assertively as possible. So we created a solution with a digital human that understands the language or dialect or idiom spoken natively, and instantly it can answer as well in the same language. We also did that in our plant in Hortolândia, a digital avatar that works in Brazilian Sign Language. And so people that have that restriction can view the camera with Brazilian Sign Language and can interact and have the solution of whatever difficulty or issue that they have in a faster way. This is in our plant, and it can be visited at any moment. And how can we implement a number of different ways? So we have a hollow display. We can have a full body hollow display. We can have a more a reserved display with a camera, a microphone, and a screen. Can be a stand or a branch. Why has this been growing? Because it increased engagement in the sales of a specific product, increased engagement in the trust that is given, because they can solve an issue without having to push it further down the line or other levels of service, as you would have in a traditional call center, for example. So we can do that. Here we have the Amarillo's Town case, where we developed Emma. It's a digital assistant that can understand languages. So if anyone wants to see it working, I can show you. You can speak Portuguese, English, or any language, and it automatically will understand and begin to talk in the language with you. This is an example of our digital human, Ethan, and he can interact whatever way we program it. But maybe they have it would have its own thought process within the limits that it's programmed, but it can have its own thought process. This is our creation studio, where you create the avatar. There's a gallery of ready-made avatars, but you can create anything. You can add any kind of feature. You can have a characteristic that some cannot do. For example, add glasses in an avatar is very complicated. Doing the avatar move, making the avatar move with the glasses is difficult, and we can do that. And I have some examples. And you can use as well any model, an open source model, to feed this avatar, or you can customize an avatar and get the open source, customize it. It becomes an SLM, and you can use that even in a mobile equipment like a cell phone. That's what will happen. We are quantizing the models, decreasing the size, increasing accuracy and precision, so that we can have them smaller and smaller. And here we have how do we develop it. We can develop it in a workstation. Then I can add this to a production in a more robust environment, because sometimes I have to service not only one user, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So it works as if it was a chat box. You can interact with the normal speech, with what we call natural language, the natural types of speech. And you understand Brazilian Sign Language. And here, how you can communicate with this avatar, with gestures, as I mentioned, microphone, visual interaction, so it's clear. And we put the layers in this solution, and we deliver it as a closed package.
And you can acquire and customize according to your needs. And also, Dell has produced what we call Dell validated designs, designs and architectures that are validated together with NVIDIA, with our partners. Those who do the renderization of the avatar is a company called Unique. And with this validation, you are able to know that it's going to work that way. You can even download. If you go in NVIDIA's website, do you know build.nvidia.com? This is the NVIDIA. You can test blueprints, models, free of cost. You can download the links. There is the ready and customized models. You only need, if it's goes for production, to pay a key to have account in this account, and you're going to have some credits to be used. If you buy Dell solution, this license comes along, and there is no limit for use. And then here, we have this website of blueprints where you can test the human digitals based on the NVIDIA platform. And if you want to take this to production, you're going to call Dell, and they'll help you. And it's going to customize it for you. And here we have the reference architecture. If you want to really have your hands on, if you're a developer and you want to know how we develop this solution, you can download this document from the internet. It's a public document. And you find all the infrastructure that we used to build the solution. Bear in mind that inside the solution, we do the guardrails. We have the guardrail both at the entrance and exit, the checker of hallucination to know that if the answer given by the avatar makes sense or not. As we are in the area of the reasoning, you can allow it to make a reflection where it chooses that answer, transferring to another agent to see if the answer makes sense for the context of your question. This is very important. Formerly, based on the first ChatGPT, you ask a question, and you would receive an answer that had nothing to do with the contest. Today, this has changed. The answer is reasoned and is thought of through a chain of agents. Sometimes you ask a question. If that model is not prepared to answer, he's going to request the assistance of another one. It gives the context to this other agent. This one thinks about the answer, tries to refine it. If he can answer, it returns as an answer. If they think there is something missing, they can transfer it to another agent, and so on and so forth. Now, imagine that you are a businessman and you want to launch a new product in Latin America, in Peru. But then how do I know if the product I'm about to launch makes sense in Peru? I can create an agent that understands about international trade. The Peruvian market can conduct a financial analysis, and they can talk to each other and give me this answer in a clear and objective manner, and even infer if I'm going to be successful or not. And then we have the basic architecture, how we can create the solution, all right? And here, a little bit of the architecture behind it. We have the servers, low latency interconnection, and sometimes we need more than one server, more than one GPU, and this cannot stop. So we need to have high availability. We cannot have these puffs in any part of this architecture. So that's why sometimes it's going to appear as being double. It's not a capacity need, but a need of resilience, because it's a critical mission environment. We have been doing this a lot for healthcare, helping in imaging analysis, correlating exams of ultrasound, and so on. Instead of to have a doctor for each specialty, we can have the help of human digit to establish this correlation and discover a disease in a quicker and assertive way. So what matters is the agility, is not if it's small or not, but help, with a quick diagnosis. And then we have, Dell has created what we call Solution Center. There is one in São Paulo at Rua Verbo Divino, but they are centers spread throughout the world where we can have a demonstration of each solution. If you are a Dell partner or client, and if you have a need or a user case you want to tap into, we can put this in the Solution Center to have a proof of concept or develop an MVP before acquire the solution to see if it really makes sense and works. And all of this free of cost. Here we have our digital woman, the stages of the orchestration, speak to text, research in the database, the local database, and the vectorized. If I see if the information is related to the contest, we can translate into English. The majority of the models, the LLMs, are in English, and now we are developing them in Portuguese. We go back to text to speech, and then we do the renderization of avatar. This is in our booth. If you haven't been there yet, I invite you to pay a visit. And finally, there's an example of hyperautomation where we have one agent talking to the other. So today we can have For example, a new employee is entering the company. I can ask a digital agent to do the onboarding of this employee. It's going to create access, the training track, the workday of this person, and it's going to return an access account so that this person can work and be included in the company. It's also in our website. We have access. It's at the Dell's website. And you're going to see this agent, and then the agent open up the website. The operator gives the command. I want to give the onboard to this person, and this person has this and that permissions, and the agent will perform the onboarding. So that's what I want to show you. Factor with NVIDIA is the solution we are showing at this event, and I invite you all to know. Good afternoon.